Alexander McQueen was a British fashion designer and couturier. His creative and experimental design received a lot of attention in the world of fashion. In 1994, McQueen returned to London and got a master's degree from Central St. Martin's College. It was the turning point that led him to be a designer. McQueen worked at Givenchy as a head designer from 1996 to 2001. After he separated with Givenchy, he focused on his own label. Then, in 2001, he made a debut with the Dance of the Twisted Bull collection in Paris, which provoked some scandals. Arthur Art Cloi was an American animator. He was one of the first people to make stop-motion clay animation popular. His work began in 1955 with a short movie called Goombasia. Cloi's work was influenced by his professor at the University of Southern California, Slavko Vorkapich. He and his wife Ruth later created the clay character Gumby. Gumby and his horse Pokey became popular characters on television. They first appeared in the Howdy Doody show and later got their own series, The Adventures of Gumby. Robert Leo. Bob Shepard was an American journalist and announcer for the New York Yankees from 1951 until 2007, and for the New York Giants from 1956 until 2006. Shepard was born on October 20th, 1910, in Richmond Hill, Queens, New York. He studied at St. John's Preparatory School, at St. John's University, and at Columbia University. He was married to Margaret Shepard until her death in 1959. They had 4 children. Then he was married to Mary Hoffman from 1961 until his death in 2010. Shepard died on July 11th, 2010 in Baldwin, New York, from natural causes. Corey Ian Haim was a Canadian actor who is known for his roles in movies such as Lucas, Silver Bullet, Murphy's Romance, License to Drive, and Dream, A Little Dream. His best-known role was alongside Corey Feldman in The Lost Boys. He was a drug addict. Haim was born on December 23, 1971, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. He was raised in Toronto. Haim studied at Zion Heights Junior High School. He never married. He died on March 10, 2010, in Burbank, California, from pneumonia at the age of 38. David Brown was an American movie producer. Brown and business partner Richard D. Zanuck were one of the most successful producers in Hollywood in the 1960s and in the 1970s. Brown was born in New York City, the son of Lillian, née Barron, and Edward Fischer Brown. He was best known as the producing partner of Richard D. Zanuck. They were jointly awarded the Irving G. Thalberg Memorial Award by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences in 1990 for their achievements in producing. Among their films were Steven Spielberg's Jaws, 1975. Dennis Lee Hopper was an American actor, movie director, and photographer. He has appeared in many movies and television shows since the 1950s. Hopper is probably best known for directing, co-writing, and starring in the Oscar-nominated movie Easy Rider, 1969. In 1994, Hopper had a role in the thriller movie Speed. He has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Hopper once insulted actor Rip Torn after he said, "Texans are hippie-hatting rednecks," and was sued for a total of $475,000. Agostino De Laurentiis, usually credited as Dino De Laurentiis, was an Italian Academy Award-winning movie producer. His first movie was L'ultimo combattimento in 1940. He has produced nearly 150 movies. In 1946, his company, the Dino De Laurentiis Cinematografica, moved into movie production. In the early years, De Laurentiis produced neo-realist films such as Bitter Rice, 1946, and the Fellini classics La Strada, 1954, and Knights of Cabiria, 1956. Neorealist is a style about the poor and working class. In the 1960s, De Laurentiis built his own studio facilities. Dixie Virginia Carter was an American movie, television, and stage actress. She was best known for playing Julia Sugarbaker in the television series Designing Women, 1986 to 1993. She competed in Miss Tennessee pageants in 1959. Carter died on April 10, 2010, in Houston, Texas. Her death was announced by her husband, actor Hal Holbrook, who stated the cause as complications from endometrial cancer, which was diagnosed earlier in 2010. In addition to Holbrook, she is survived by her daughters from her first marriage, Gina Carter and Mary Dixie Carter. Edwin John Eddie Fischer was an American singer, actor, writer, musician, and entertainer. Fischer had made hundreds of recording albums. Fischer was born on August 10, 1928 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to a Russian Jewish family. He studied at Thomas Junior High School, South Philadelphia High School, and at Simon Gratz High School. It was during high school many people discovered that Fischer had a talent for singing. Fischer was married to Debbie Reynolds from 1955 until they divorced in 1959. They had 2 children, including actress Carrie Fisher. Gary Wayne Coleman was an American actor. Coleman was an African-American who was born in Santa Barbara, California, with a kidney disease causing nephritis. Nephritis is an autoimmune destruction of the kidney. The disease stopped his growth at an early age. Because of this, he was only 4 feet 8 in tall. His height was his most notable feature. He received 2 kidney transplants, one in 1973 and one in 1984. He then needed dialysis every day. He was adopted. He was famous for his role as Arnold Jackson in the American sitcom Different Strokes. George Michael Steinbrenner was an American businessman who was the owner of the New York Yankees from 1973 until his death in 2010. He made his initial fortune as part of the Great Lakes shipping industry. After purchasing the Yankees, Steinbrenner made headlines for his meddling with team affairs, such as instilling a policy that prohibits facial hair and setting a trend with paying big salaries to marquee free agents like Reggie Jackson and Catfish Hunter. Manager Billy Martin alone was fired on 5 separate occasions. Greg Geraldo was an American comedian, television personality, and retired lawyer. Geraldo is probably best known for his many appearances on Comedy Central's roast specials and is also known for being a regular on Louis Black's Root of All Evil. He was married twice, once when he was 24, and he said that last very long. At the time of his death, he had 3 children and had been divorced. He accidentally overdosed on prescription medication, and he was scheduled to appear at a comedy performance at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Howard Zinn was an American historian and professor from Brooklyn, New York. Zinn considered himself to be a radical. In 1980, he wrote A People's History of the United States, which is a book that tells the history of the United States from the perspective of common people instead of people who were in power. This included people who were oppressed. As of the time of Zinn's death, the book had sold almost 2 million copies. Zinn died of a heart attack while swimming on January 27, 2010 in Santa Monica, California, aged 87. John Forsythe was an American stage, television, and movie actor. His career began when he was an announcer for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Forsythe's movie career began in 1943 in the movie Northern Pursuit, and since then he had appeared in many movies such as Destination Tokyo, Escape from Fort Bravo, Madame X, Topaz, Scrooged, and his final movie was the 2003 movie Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle. That is the sequel to the movie that is based on the television series Charlie's Angels, in which Forsythe starred in.